Hello, Algebra 1. Today while I'm out, you're going to be watching a review video and you are going to be filling out your notes as you watch this video. Please feel free to pause the video at any time if you need it to slow down. And yeah, just fill in your notes. When you're done with the video and you filled in your notes, you want to show your sub, and then you can move on to your homework, which is worksheet 3.5. If for some reason worksheet 3 isn't done, your homework from Friday, you should get that done as well. You also have a Canvas quiz that will be due tomorrow, and tomorrow when I return, you will have your quiz. We will go over homework questions and do a quick quiz review before your quiz, so no worries. Okay? All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, so we are going to start with graphing using x and y intercepts. So remember, when you want to find your x-intercepts, all you're going to do is plug a 0 in for y. So we're going to go ahead, we'll plug a 0 in for y. And when you do that, this guy right here is just going to cancel. So really you just have negative 5x equals negative 45. And then to solve, we will divide by negative 5 on both sides. And you will get x equals a positive 9. When you write your ordered pair, make sure you put 9 in the x spot and 0 will go in your y spot. Okay? All right, now we'll go ahead and do the y-intercept. The y-intercept is just when x equals 0. This is going to be faster than to put this into slope-intercept form and then identify your y-intercept. So we'll just do the same thing, only this time the 0 is going in for x. Okay, and again, negative 5 times 0 is just 0, so we're left with 15y equals negative 45, and we will divide by 15 on both sides. Take a minute to calculate that, and you should get a negative 3. Make sure you put your actual y-intercept. Notice it's 0, negative 3 because your x is 0 and your y is negative 3. All right, so now we'll graph that. We have a point at 9, 0, that's your x-intercept, so it's on your x-axis. A point at 0, negative 3. It's your y-intercept, so it's on your y-axis, and then take your ruler or your straight edge or your ID and you're going to draw a line that's better than that, hopefully. Something like that. Let's make sure we have arrows on the ends of our lines, please. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do number 2. We're going to graph using slope-intercept form. So here's the thing. I want you to notice this is the exact same equation as the one we just did. So our graph should look pretty similar. However, one thing that's going to be different is we're going to have a lot more dots because we're not just finding the x and y-intercept this time. When we are graph using slope-intercept form, this means we need to solve for y. Okay, so what we will do is, first step, we're going to add our 5x over. Okay. And we'll get 15y equals, remember, now that we're in slope-intercept form, ideally you want to put your x first. So if you put negative 45 plus 5x, it's fine, it's not wrong, but we want to start putting x first. So it's a positive 5x minus 45. And then we are still solving for y, so we will divide by 15. Okay. Y equals, and we have 5 divided by 15. Make sure you math frac that. So that's a 1/3 x. And negative 45 divided by 15, we did that over here. That's a negative 3. Okay, so this is your slope-intercept form. We also would call that function form. So your slope, remember your m value, this is slope, is whatever is with your x or independent variable. So your slope is going to be 1/3. Your y-intercept or your b value is this guy right here. Make sure you put a 0, comma. Okay, so when we graph, we're always going to start at your y-intercept because the other name for that is your starting point. So you're going to be down at -3. Make sure, again, you're on the y-axis. Okay, notice that your y-intercepts match from our two problems. They should, because this is the same problem. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and, oh, sorry, technical difficulties. We're going to go up 1, right 3. Up 1, right 3. Up 1, right 3. I've run out of room. I'm going to come back. Down 1, left 3. Down 1, left 3. Down 1, left 3. And then draw your line. Okay, now if you take a look, these lines are very similar. Okay, they go through the same points. Okay, but this one is going to be more accurate because we have more points as opposed to this guy. You know, the line is not going to be perfectly straight there. Okay, all right, next we're going to graph a parallel line through the point 4, -6. You can pick whichever grid you want, it doesn't matter. 4, -6 would be right here, and remember, parallel lines have the same slope. So since our slope is 1/3, we're just going to do up 1, right 3, up 1, right 3 from our new point. And then down 1, right 3, down 1, right 3. Okay, and you should get a nice parallel line there. Okay. 2 more. Almost done. Determine whether the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. All right, so remember, parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have what are called opposite reciprocal slopes. Neither would just be neither of those two things. So first thing I want you to notice is that this equation right here is already in slope-intercept form. You have a slope of 1/2. So that one we're pretty much done with. This guy over here, this is in what's called standard form. We will talk about standard form more in a week or two. Basically, in order to find the slope, we are going to need to solve for y first. So let's subtract our 2x over. Make sure you bring down a -y equals, and remember we're putting our x first, so a -2x, it is a positive 18. And then this is a -1 here. We're just going to divide by that -1. Oops, and I've run out of room. All right, so that's going to be y equals, we'll put it up here, -2 divided by -1 is a positive 2x. 18 divided by -1 is a -18. Okay, so next we'll identify our slope. Our slope is 2, because that's what's with x. So we have a slope of 2 and a slope of 1/2. They are definitely not the same, but they are also not opposite reciprocals. They are just reciprocals, but in order to be perpendicular, one of these has to be a negative. Okay, so one positive, one negative. These are the same sign, so this would be neither. Okay, so this means the lines are intersecting, but they're not intersecting to form a right angle. Okay. All right, last one. Write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So m, b, and then we're going to write our equation. Let's start with m, which again is slope. We'll do that by doing our jumps. Okay. -15 to -21. This is getting smaller, and it's going down by 6. And then these guys are going up by 3. And when we find slope, remember it's always change in y over change in x. So -6 over 3 is a -2. There's your slope. Y-intercept is always where x is 0, so that guy should be right there. Remember, it's not just the first thing in your table. And last but not least, we want to plug this into the form y equals mx plus b. That's your slope-intercept form. So we'll just plug the -2 in, -2x, plug the -21 in. And there you go, that's your answer. All right, so what you're doing next is you're going to go ahead and you are going to show the sub that you've completed these notes, and then you have worksheet 3.5, which is front and back. and you also have a Canvas quiz, which is due tomorrow. Quiz tomorrow. Please be prepared to ask questions. We will be doing a brief review beforehand. All right, I hope you have a great day. Thank you.